Greetings, people on the internet. We are now going to design the death of our sprite. Yes, it's a sad moment, but we'll have to do it. So I'm going to do the animation, the death animation. So when the sprite will die, he'll have an animation. And as for this first frame, he's actually starting to fall like this. Always check the preview window with a small sprite to see how it's coming. And so I'm actually putting his right hand a bit more back. Like that. And let me just yes, it looks more clear that the hand is going back like that, I suppose. And as for the left hand, I'm going to bring it a bit more up like that. And let's go to frame 2. So I'm selecting frame 1, holding Control and dragging it to make a copy. Now using the select tool to select all his upper body and bring it down 1 pixel. That's going to be enough. And deselecting it. And I'm now going to redesign everything. Actually, let me bring him down a bit more, another pixel. So I brought it down 2 pixels, maybe 3 pixels. Yeah. So he's actually, the idea is he's actually on frame 2. His knees are actually on the ground. So this is an animation with maybe 6 frames. So that means it is really quick. I'm actually like all the animations for this game. They're really quick. They're small animations with when it comes to number of frames. So I actually have to make all the actions kind of snappy. So this is not really film animation. So for frame 3, so he's with his knees on the ground now. So I'm gonna select his upper body and bring it 1 pixel up. This is like to give it some bounce, like he just on frame 2 his knees hit the ground, so it's like a little bouncing effect, like he's hitting the ground and then going up for 1 frame, and on the next frame, on frame 4, he will come down again. So I have to redesign his hand here and bring it a bit up and out like so, and just erase this pixel here and this pixel here, and for his left hand 1 more pixel. So, okay. So I think this is it for frame 3. Let's go to 4. So selecting, oops, I don't know why this happens sometimes. So selecting frame 3, holding control, always pick it up on that little yellow square of the frame. And now I'm selecting his head. Actually, sorry, bad selection. So I just want his head without his neck. And his head is coming down like so. So yeah, pretty much there. Yeah. And now his upper body goes down both by 1 pixel as well, like that. So I'm going to deselect it and bring his hand a bit up and out, like that. Okay, like that. Let me just erase this frame here, this pixel here. Don't forget his beard, please. Okay, so we can't see his left hand because it's actually hidden by the head. I'm just looking at the preview, thinking in terms of silhouette, how it looks like. And so we can move to frame 5. So I'm selecting frame 4, getting this little yellow square, holding control and dragging it to make a copy. And now just not so sure about frame 4. Let me just check something here. So I think on frame 4 his head would have to be, I mean, he would have to be looking down more than he is now. And what I mean by that is, let me just redesign his specs here. And so his head would be turning down more to the floor. And that means we would see more of his, we'll see more the top of his head. So we will see more hair on frame 4 than on 3, and on 5, of course, this would, I hope this is not too confusing what I'm doing, but I think you understand me. Let me just go back. So I just hit Ctrl Z to go back, and okay, let me redesign frame 4 first. It makes more sense than to make a copy of 4, I mean a clean copy of frame 4, instead of redesigning frame 4 and 5. So his beard would be like that. And now let's make a copy of frame 4. So I'm selecting it, holding control. You already know how to do it. And now I'm gonna select his head and bring it, oops. Yeah, well, this is not working as I expected. So yeah, Control Z again, go back to where it was. I was just trying to give it some rotation to the head, but actually it doesn't work so good. So at this point, his head is touching the floor, and actually, let me just deselect this, and actually we would just see his hair pretty much. So I can just cover the other parts of his face, so we can't see his face anymore, just his red hair. Actually, here on top it will look much more like this, not so round. And okay, so let me grab the selection tool and I will bring it a bit more to the right. I think it makes more sense. I'm gonna deselect it, and now picking up the black to design the rest of his body, his dead body. Poor guy. Well, maybe we can see a bit of his face like so. And so I'm sure you noticed I'm using onion skin, so you can see the previous, like a shadow of the previous frame on the back. This is his hand, we can still see his hand. And let me just delete the rest of his body parts. Okay, let me just flat his window, his head a bit more, like that. Actually, some more pixels. I deleted some too much pixels. Yeah, looks better like that. And actually, yeah, well, I'm sorry, I have to try things first and then see how they look like. And now for frame 6, I'm just trying to simulate the bouncing of his head when he hits the floor. So that's why on frame 5, yeah, that's why on frame 5 his head was looking a bit bigger than on 6, like that. Let me hit play again. I think it's working. I think it's working pretty good. And let's just save it. So hit save as and give it a name. I'm going to call it Sprite Dynam. Hit OK. And I'll see you guys on the next video.